Hey everybody, we're doing something a little bit different today. We're going to open a couple of packs of this incredibly crappy product, 1988 Donruss. Has mostly terrible photos, and we're going to find the best photo and the worst photo among the cards in these two packs. Um, got to do something to make this set interesting because there just aren't that many interesting cards in there. So let's go ahead and open the two packs, and then we will go through and find the best and the worst. Okay, so keep in mind, we're going to be going by best and worst photographs, not best and worst players. So the quality of the player has nothing to do with how I'm going to choose. So let's see. First card from each pack. So again, if we're going by players, obviously Dave Winfield would be great. In this case, I still think the Winfield photo is a little bit better. They're both not bad, but you can see more of Winfield's face, more of his body. I think in this case, the wider angle shot is a little bit better. The Bill Schroder photo is certainly not bad though, but I'm going to say the Winfield one wins out here. Okay, this one is no contest. Greg Walker's got a nice action shot. As he's put the ball in play, you can see the whiskey yellow railing in the background, a couple other players. Look, you can even see the numbers on the legs of the uniforms. Keith Hughes, the photo is fine, but boring. You know, just points go to the action shot. Steve Trout, Rafael Santana. Neither one is terrible. I would say it's interesting because neither one is actually totally an action shot, right? Like Steve Trout looks like he's maybe thrown a ball already and maybe waiting for the throw back, or maybe he's looking in for the sign, but his hand isn't in his glove, so I'm not even sure. Santana looks like he's, maybe just digging in. Um, Tough call, but I'll give the edge to Santana. These are both players who are deceased, unfortunately. Um, Both are not bad as far as posed shots go. Um, Mahler's got a nice smile and can see him pretty well. I like batting cage shots, even though there's a lot of people who don't. Um, so I'm going to go with the Mike Young one here, but the Mahler photo is definitely not awful. All right, interesting choice here. So I don't know. Joe Carter's got a nice smile, and it's hard to look at him and say, "Hey, that's not a good photo." He just looks fun and engaged, and it's a nice photo. Glenn Wilson, though, it's a nice action batting shot. Um, Tough call here. I'm gonna go with Carter just because he's got a nice expression. Carter's never been my favorite player, but you can't argue about his attitude on the field and his smiling and all the rest of that. He's always been a fun player and an engaging guy, even if he wasn't the best clutch hitter. Mike Morgan and Jack Morris. Um, Neither is a good photo. Morris is just posed and doesn't even have a nice expression. Morgan's entire face is in the shadows, though. And you can't see his back arm or the ball or anything. So these are both bad photos, but I'll give it to Morris as the slightly better one. Nice centering on the Morgan though. All right, Pedro Guerrero, MVP, and John Farrell. Um, Tough choice here. Neither one's particularly good. Um, Guerrero's face is completely in the shadows, which I really don't like. Farrell's just sitting there with a goofy whatever, but neither one's all that good. But I'll go ahead and give a slight edge to Farrell. Dave Anderson and Chuck Crim. So in this case, Crim, first of all, looks a little bit out of focus, right? His body is in focus. His face actually looks not totally in focus. Maybe hard to tell, but like his uniform and his arms and everything looks crisp in focus, but his face looks a little bit out of focus. So I'm going to have to give the edge to Anderson. Not a bad pose shot for Jose Gonzalez. Looks good. Um, but man, Tony Phillips looking like he's about to swing. Got to give it to him. Buddy Bell, Jim Deshaies. Neither one is bad, although Jim Deshaies does look a little constipated. But Buddy Bell looking like he's just lashed a hit and getting out of the box at Wrigley Field, which you can identify. Got to give the edge to Bell. All right, Smalley, Royce Smalley, and Bert Blyleven. Um, not a, neither one is a great photo. Um, Blyleven's got a kid over his shoulder. It looks kind of weird. Um, it'd be nice if Blyleven were smiling and not just sitting there with his mouth open, looking like a deer in the headlights. Smalley's not a particularly interesting photo either, but at least it's an action photo, so I'll give him the edge. So look, Rick Schu, no, his face is not in the shadows, but it is overlit, right? And he's squinting. Not a great photo. Dave LaPoint, nice in the middle of a delivery. Love that his front foot is off the ground, and it's a pretty dynamic photo. Not a bad one. Wow. Now this is battle of garbage right here. Williamson, his face is in the shadow. He's got an unbelievably goofy grin on his face, unlike any other smile he's ever had on a card. That is just not what he looks like. I don't know what that blue thing is in the background behind him, but it's, then you got trees just barely visible. It's super weird. The Benzinger shot is not great either. He's got a couple of bats looking way off, facing the shadows. I don't know. At least he doesn't look goofy. Edge to Benzinger, but it's not exciting. Oh my God. What is happening here? What is with this Doug Sisk photo? Horrible shadows all over his face that make him look. I mean, his face looks distorted because of these shadows. I mean, look, he's actually a totally normal looking person, but look at these shadows under his cheeks and everything else. His hair's all messed up. He's sweaty. Like, I mean, that's just bad. And Lance Johnson, again, his face is a little bit in the shadow. He's got an unbelievably serious look on his face. I don't know. It's still not as bad as the Doug Sisk, though. And last card from each pack, Nipper and Russell. Russell's, again, in the shadows. Not a great photo. The Nipper photo's okay. Could be more dynamic. Can't see his hands, can't see the ball, just see his leg. It's fine. It's not great. Okay, so now it's up to picking the worst card from the pile here. Let me see what the candidates are. Sisk's a candidate. Williamson's a candidate. Schu's maybe a candidate. This Deshaies is fine. Jose Gonzalez is perfectly fine. That one's not great either. So I'd say it's among these four. And I don't know. I think I got to go with the Williamson, maybe, or the Sisk. I don't know. I think the Sisk I got to go with because it just makes him look so abnormal. They caught Williamson in a goofy pose and a goofy smile, but Sisk they actually did dirty by like just making him look like not a normal person, which by all accounts, Doug Sisk is a totally normal person. This photo, not make him look that way. All right. How about best photo? Well, it's not that one, or that one, or that one. This one's fine. Definitely not these. I don't know. Now it's down to these guys, I would say. Carter photo is ever so slightly blurry. And it's not an action photo. I don't know. I think of these, my favorite is probably the Walker. They're all pretty good, but I guess I'm going to go with Greg Walker. All right, there you have it. Out of these two packs, best photo, Greg Walker. Worst photo, Doug Sisk. That's what I got. What do you guys think looking at these cards? We'll come back with this feature with some other packs and some other years, and Until then, please subscribe, hit like, and have a fantastic day.